check out this very interesting little car. It's called the MG4 XPower. Although it might sound like the name of a tough, grime-fighting washing machine detergent, you'll be blown away by three main attractions: epic performance, great practicality, and a very attractive price tag. It doesn't look like anything else on the market, so there's no confusion there. And this example makes it really obvious that it's an EV, thanks to its rather nice fern green colour, called Hunter Green. Overall, the design is sharp and futuristic, and it optimises space efficiency inside. The XPower variant looks pretty much the same as the regular MG4 models, and it's based on the latest MSP platform, developed by MG's Chinese parent company, SAIC Motor. The XPower also comes with these bright orange brake caliper covers, which are quite strange, but the actual brakes hiding behind are larger. Instead of 300mm discs front and rear, this comes with 345 on the front and 340 on the back. The back are also ventilated instead of solid. These are enveloped by a set of unique 18-inch alloy wheels, wrapped in 235/45 Bridgestone Turanza tyres. Inside, it's very spacious and open, but considering this competes in the premium small car class in Australia, up against the likes of the Audi A3 and BMW 1 Series, it doesn't have the same luxury feel in our opinion. But it is pleasant and certainly very practical, including for rear passengers. Boot space is pretty average for this specific class, and there are no bag hooks on the wall, but there is some underfloor storage. It would be nice if the charging cable bag had somewhere to go, or some Velcro on it, because it bounces around very easily on its own. You can always take the cable out though and put it under the floor. There is no spare wheel, only a puncture repair kit, which is good for saving weight. Under the bonnet you'd swear there's a twin-turbo V8 lurking down there somewhere, because this green machine really hammers along. The front e-motor produces 150 kilowatts, with 170 added at the back, and then with 600 Newton meters of torque available instantly, it's a thrilling drive experience. Out on the road we've got a few different driving modes to choose from, including an eco mode, which is basically optimizing the range, but it means the throttle sensitivity is pretty weak, so I can push my foot about a quarter down and it only just starts picking up then. And to show you what I mean, I'll just slow down a bit. So that's a quarter throttle. I'll hit sport, and straight away you can feel it pick up and start going. And in sport mode, it's very sensitive, and it will start accelerating very quickly. It is actually quicker as well in sport mode, as you'll see in the performance testing in a minute. I did runs in sport, normal, and eco was actually quite a bit slower than the sport mode. Normal and sport mode wasn't so much difference, but yeah, the eco mode definitely weakens the throttle response, and I think weakens the power off, because the 0 to 100 time was quite a bit slower. The XPower comes with unique suspension with 25% stiffer springs and stiffer stabilizer bars, but I can't really tell the difference all that much. I'd have to drive them back to back compared with the regular MG4. It's not until you push it pretty hard that, it's a bit more tied down. In honesty, I'd rather something that's even more tied down than this, especially for something that's this quick, because it does sort of float a little bit around, especially if you hit a mid-corner bump. It'll just have a moment of just floatiness, where I'd rather have it a bit stiffer for this level of sportiness. But, for the general public, or for a wider audience, this is going to be just fine. So I'll push on a bit around this corner. There is a bit of torque steer happening. It sort of tugs the wheel a little bit. But yeah, awesome acceleration. The suspension is actually a really nice balance for everyday motoring. So you can drive this to work every day, and it's not going to break your back. But at the same time, it's still sporty enough that you can go out on a nice winding road and have some fun. The brakes do feel stronger as well, so I did some 100 to 0 tests, as you'll see in a minute, and it does pull up very quickly. So 36 meters roughly, it pulled up from 100, which is quite good on the same piece of tarmac. So there's no point in comparing different results from different channels and things, because it's a different surface. So, but what you can do is compare all the results that we've done. So I've got a performance table, which I'll link in at the top of this video, in the description as well. And you can see all the different vehicles we've tested over the years, and they're all on the same piece of tarmac. So you can compare those, but I wouldn't compare other channels and on how they test, because it's a different surface. You're not going to get the same results. It's a very quiet drive, as you'd expect, being an electric car, but there's not too much wind noise. Visibility is also excellent out the front here. I've got a little window in the corner so I can see through the gap between the mirror and the A-pillar. Yeah, this is a very easy car to drive. It feels a bit futuristic inside, but it's definitely very easy, and the steering is pretty good. It's actually quite engaging for an electric car. The XPower is actually pretty light for an electric vehicle, and you can feel that, and not just in terms of sporty driving in the mountains and so on, just driving around suburbs and around the city. It just feels playful, and it's quite engaging. Okay, across this little strip here, we've got a very poor surface. You can hear some rattles and things inside the car, but you know, this is not a very expensive vehicle, so you shouldn't expect absolute Rolls-Royce peace and quiet. But yeah, the door's rattling a bit there. I can feel something under here rattling as well. Again though, that suspension is soaking up these bumps very well. It doesn't feel too bone jarring, it doesn't feel too rigid. Again, for a very high performance vehicle like this, if you were to compare this to a petrol powered vehicle that could do, you know, 0 to 100 in a claimed 3.8 seconds, you'd be in something pretty serious, pretty hardcore, and the suspension would be, quite stiff. Whereas this, it's a bit softer, but it seems to work on the road. It's probably not the best if you're going to take it on the track, but on the road, winding roads like this, a few bumps and things, it's a good balance. You can turn the stability control off, which I did with the performance testing, but it was a bit slower. You just got to swipe down from the top of the touchscreen here, and you've got stability control off just there. And it will turn it completely off. But it ends up spinning the wheels quite a bit, as you'll see in the video, and it's definitely a bit slower. But maybe if you're in the mountains or something like that and you didn't want that grabby feeling of the brakes coming on as it tries to sort out the power, you can turn that off and experience a bit more of a playful drive. It'll actually chirp the wheels too if you've got the stability off and you floor it from, say, 40 kilometers an hour. It started spinning the wheels, so that's gives you some idea of the sheer power of this thing. Visibility out the back is a bit restricted due to the headrest there, but even the rear windscreen is pretty small. You could take that middle headrest off, I suppose, and get a bit more of a view, but yeah, the visibility out the back isn't the greatest. But as I said, the visibility out the front is definitely very good. It does come with a full surround view camera system too, so when you're parking, I guess you can double check on that if you can't quite see well enough out the back. Alright, let's head out and do the performance testing now and see what it goes like.